Hey guys, so I decided to do an in-depth tutorial about how to crooked grind since Alex asked me to do one of those. I love the trick, I do them all the time. So this trick is actually not that easy for a beginner, so don't get frustrated if you don't land it right away. It will just take some time for you to be very consistent with this trick since it's not that easy, but I can tell you it's totally worth it, so keep practicing. It will extend your options for a bag of tricks so much. So the most common thing I see with people who are trying to learn this trick is they either get stuck on the ledge or when they try to get out, their board flips out. Those are the most common mistakes if you want so. So before you start learning this trick, I really recommend to have a good relationship with the nose of your board. That means nose grinds, nose slides, and nose manuals are very helpful for this trick. Okay, how do you set up, how do you place your feet on the board? So the foot position, in my opinion, is very crucial. The back foot just stands on the tip of the tail right in the middle, just like when you would do an ollie. Your front foot on the other side is really important. I like to square up my front foot with the front bolts, and I just like to leave a tiny gap between my shoe and the bolts of the front truck. So in my experience, your foot placement of the front foot can change your grind drastically. So if you put your front foot just a little bit farther back, you tend to hang up more. You jump up on the curb and you get stuck immediately just because you have more pressure into the curb. Vice versa, if you put your foot a little bit further towards the bolts or a little bit over the bolts, the opposite happens. You have troubles actually getting up on the ledge into the grind, and your back trucks kind of hang off a little bit, just like a woolly grind. So this aspect of the trick, where to put your front foot, is something you just have to figure out through time with practice it a lot, and just like experiment. Try to put your front foot a little bit farther back and see how your board reacts, how you get on the ledge, how you grind. Just try it out, just practice it, and just like experiment. So the only time when I've changed my front foot position very slightly is depending on the height of the curb. Anything around knee high or a little bit lower is the foot position I just described, just like a little bit behind the front bolts. So if the ledge is getting taller, higher, I tend to put my front foot a little bit further back. And if the curb is lower or the ledge is lower than knee high, I tend to put my front foot a little bit more towards the bolts, a little bit forward. So now approaching the ledge, the main difference between a nose slide and a crooked grind, in my opinion, is with a nose slide, I approach the ledge completely parallel. With a crooked grind, I have a slight angle. So before you start trying this trick on an actual ledge, I'd recommend to just take a curb and practice it on a little curb. Practice to get into the grind, to lock in and not get into a nose slide, just like get the pinch. And as soon as you're feeling comfortable with hitting the curb and locking in every time, you can take the trick to actual ledge. Okay, now let's talk about the grind. So when you pop the trick, what you want to do is give the tail a good snap and you try to jump into the ledge. Other than with a nose slide where you kind of like slide right next to the ledge or just like lean a little bit over it, with a crooked grind you really have to commit and you really have to jump into the ledge and place your weight completely over your front truck. With this, it is very important that you focus on hitting the ledge. Really try to aim for the corner of the ledge and don't jump in too far. That will result with you hitting the ground because your wheels will just slide off the ledge and you will end up falling to the ground. So now the actual grind, this is the part where most people are struggling with. They get into the ledge and immediately they stop. So why is that? Actually, when you jump into the ledge and you try to put your weight over your nose, you lean too far forward. What I try to imagine is when I get into the trick, I do try to put my weight over the nose of the skateboard, but then I tried to extend my front leg further out and do kind of like a, I think like it was a surfing motion. My weight leaning back, but still pushing the nose of the board forward. Also a very common problem is when you're grinding, you're slipping out and kind of get into a nose slide. So your wheel size contributes a lot to that. If you have bigger wheels, it is easier for you to lock in. If you have smaller wheels, you tend to slip out pretty fast. So I don't want to say that you have to buy new wheels, you have to buy really big wheels to be able to lock in better to a cricket grind. I think it just makes a lot of difference, but you can actually feel it. Just go with the wheels you have and just keep on practicing. What does make a big difference on your setup with this trick is your front shrug. So what happens when you do this trick a lot, your front shrug kind of develops a little groove, and this groove kind of helps your board staying locked into the grind. That is also a reason why I hate to get new trucks, because then I have to start over creating this groove or like doing the grind all the time just to get the groove back again. Okay, now how do we actually get out of the grind? This is probably the hardest part of the trick. I remember when I started trying to learn this trick, what happened to me all the time is I was getting to the end of the ledge, I wanted to get out, and then I just like flipped over. My board kind of went half heel flip and I wasn't able to get back on the board again. Okay, how do you actually get out of the trick without flipping your board? What you have to do is kind of like a little nollie. It is pretty similar to the movement you would do when you get out of a nose manual. Drop your tail just a little bit just to get some momentum, and then kick back on your nose and do a little nollie out. It doesn't have to be a full pop, but just enough to get that leverage to get your truck and your wheel back out of the ledge. What I like to recommend is, in the beginning, just to get used to the trick, start doing it to fakie. Try to get out fakie first, because it is a lot easier. All you have to do is turn your shoulders and your board kind of slips out to fakie anyways. This will help you getting used to the grind, helping you create this groove in your truck as I mentioned, and just like feeling more comfortable with that. And as soon as you know how to stand in the grind and being safe in the grind, later on you can practice on actually nollieing out the trick. Okay guys, I think that is pretty much all I have to say about this trick. If anyone has any other tips or advice, just leave it down in the comments. I hope you liked the video. I hope you got some value out of that. And if you're still struggling, just hit me up. I'd be glad to help you guys. So yeah, see you next time. Peace out. Bye.
Somehow,